Okay, afternoon everyone. So I'm going to be talking about class charts, and I'm just going to show you a few of the things that I've used it for, other than just the normal seating plan and arranging things. So first of all, I'll just look at my Year 10 class. I'm assuming everybody's okay with arranging students in there as you want. If you want to go right to the back to the start on it, I'm quite happy to do that. Have you used class charts at all? Okay. So we'll go back to the start, how to set it up, and then we'll go through that bit. So when you come to it, when you log on for the first time, you'll find all your classes are in there, and then you'll have your room, which will be set up as per the timetable. And then there's a couple of ways you can organise the students where you want them. You can just do drag and drop, so move into there, move into there, move into wherever I want. And on here we've also got the codes for all the various UDGs, so I can see that, I don't remember where around it is. So Rosie is gifted and talented, of course we should talk about his names. So you can see all the various parts on there, so you can organise them. There's another way of organising them as well. If you go to rearrange pupils, so click on rearrange pupils, then on here you've got various categories where you can move them around and you can choose. So you can either have all, and you can slide this across. If you want all the boys together and the girls together, you put it there. Or boys with girls. You can choose by languages, gifted and talented, and so on all the way through. You can also use the targets, and you can select different targets down the side for arranging. So if you wanted all the Key Stage 4 triple targets with the same targets together, you can slide this across to here, or if you want them there, you can put them there. I'll show you how you can add more things to this in a minute, so you can get different choices. So doing that, you can then say, okay, click optimise seating chart, and it will just rearrange it completely for you. And that's now grouped it as you want it. And then you can say, actually, I don't want those two sitting together, I'll just move them to there. Or you can choose where they want to go. A useful tip on it is you don't really want everybody walking in saying so-and-so is pupil premium or whatever with all these different symbols on here. So if you press this icon at the top left, all that disappears. Oh, sorry, that was their pictures. It's that one there. And that just makes all the various groups disappear so you can see where they are. So that's all quite useful. We do a lot of group work, and there's always an argument about who's going to be in what group. So you can use a similar method now. If you go click on rearrange pupils, we get the same thing at the bottom, but now I can go to make groups. So I'll click on that one. And then you can choose how many groups you want. So I can have two groups of 14 to 15, all the way up to 19 groups of 1 or 2 students. So I can choose, if I've got 10 sets of equipment, I can move this so I get the appropriate amount of equipment. And then once again, if I want the girls working with the girls, and or if I want the boys and girls working together, I slide that across there, or I slide it across there. So you can actually select your groups, and then just click on make groups. And then what I usually do at this stage, I put on my desks, this is where group 1 goes, this is where group 2 goes, this is where group 3 goes. One of the problems you get with this is it doesn't all fit on there. So to make it fit, I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but I just go to the bit at the top right and zoom it, or de-zoom it. And then as the students come in, they can see which group they're going to be in, where they're going to be working. One of the things it tends not to do is it doesn't give you the same groups every time. So you get a degree of randomness on it. So if you want the same groups, you have to print that out and save it in your folder. But that's a really, really useful function because you can then use that to sort things out. So going back to So here's my class again. I'll just put it back to its full size. So one of the things I'm really bad at is I tend to ask the same people the same questions over and over again. So, and I've found I'm always asking this group the same questions, and it's actually quite difficult to work out have you got around everybody in the week of asking the questions. So I found two good ways of doing that. My favourite one is just print out your class charts, and then when you ask them a question, just go and put a tick. And if they've answered the question properly, you put a tick. If you haven't answered the question properly, you put a cross. And then I know at the end of the week that, oh yes, I haven't actually asked little Jimmy in the corner absolutely anything at all. And you can see that everybody's actually had a chance to contribute to it. The other thing you can do, you can ask a question, and then you can click random pupil. So I click on random pupil, and it then flips around, pulls up the student's name, and then I can say, okay, so did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? Or was it kind of a bit iffy? Or was it, what was it? So she got it right, and then I can get rid of that. Then you can do a random pupil again. This is quite a nice function because you can then, so the other thing you can do is you can put your ticks and crosses on here on the way through. You can then just input that onto there and it's all stored for you. And then you can go to report. So in there, this bit isn't, the activity isn't very useful because it just says so-and-so answered correctly, didn't answer correctly, and it tends to be for everything that they've done. But this is quite a nice idea for the class. You can see that this class has got a lot of stuff right, one or two if you want, only a few wrong answers when we've been asking questions. And you can choose your time scale on that, so that's the last 30 days, you can do it last 90 days since August, so you can customise it so you can see how you've been doing. And it's a useful thing if you've got a class folder, you can then say, this is my evidence for having actually asked some questions, and this is what they're doing from the verbal feedback. The last couple of things. So here are all the fields which are displayed on there. The targets have disappeared at the moment, so I'm not quite sure where they've gone. I think they must download those from Sims. But if you wanted to have different fields on here, which you can then search by when you're choosing your groups, if you just click on the Choose Different Fields button, and then you've got all these various fields that you can choose from. So for us, we could choose the grade they got in core science, and that would then appear on the front, and I could then sort the groups by the various grades at core science, or split them up by the grades they got in core science. And there's quite a lot of data on there, some of which is there and available, some of which doesn't upload. And so there's all these various fields you can choose from all the way through. And they can appear on your seating plan, so you can have it printed out in front of you so you know who you're targeting, or you can have it blanked off just on your own personal. That's all the stuff that I've got. That's one of the only things I found out on class charts. But it's a very, very flexible, very clever way of checking how people are doing on the way through. So I just suggest now for the last 5 minutes, if you log onto class charts, just have a play around with a few of those settings and see if you can get them. If you get stuck, I'll give you a hand.
So actually show the targets, what you said today.
These targets here don't appear on there. I think there's the Sims bit is missing from that, which is now going for schools and it needs to set that up. So, have we got any other questions? see Ben Phillips. Also.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So the danger is when you do it next time, you won't get the same groups.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm pre-screening it each time.
Yeah, so it's new.
It is, it is. Yeah.
You look at the modules as well, so somebody's you can
Basically,
see
they do it as well.
Yes, yes.
Sorry about that, a bit of delay.
That's right.
So we get really should be just soft difference in the thousand.
But there's something wrong with the tiles. They don't load. They did before, but something's disappeared from them now. But today, that's not there.
I still don't have my bathroom at the moment. I still have to manage to do something like that. Honestly, what is that? I've been used to year and going through cover.
It's Ben Phillips.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm just pressing that on my way.
Yeah.
It's with time.
Yeah, so
I
you-
want to do it.
you click it again.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I think I'll be back. Around the time.
Click out of it.
Oh, I see.
So you,
Oh, that's it, that's it, that's my seat.
Yeah.
So what did that do? That took away something
I think it just rotates it round, so it's a different, rotates it around by 90 degrees.
Alright. It seems to have lost the people of
Yeah, so if you click on that one there, so what I do is when I'm displaying to the board, I click that one so that so there's an embarrassing discussion.
Yes.
Right.
Happy with that?
Yeah. Yeah, very much.
Yeah, they're my favourites. I've just got my date notification.
Thank you for your assistance.
Although I've got a
So once you've done the groups, you can start printing it off or super printing it because the groups doesn't seem to be the same groups over and over again.
Yeah. No, I know.
One third leg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you? Yeah. Even
Yes, I do as well. Yes, I don't know. Yes, it's all these folks. It's a different board.
yeah, but maybe.
No, but
Yes. Yes. I like it.
Yeah.
What's your tutor there? They do.
It is.
They have right. No, is it saying they're on somewhere? No, I'm quite.
I was quite impressed looking at DT
No, I quite like
this
that.
morning, not that many.
Thank you, Andy. That's really good. Thank you very much. Thanks, Vilma. Should we give a little round of applause? I know people are so